This is the side that Kieran Cowley has chosen. 20-year-old Andrew Tideman packs down with Glasgow's Kevin Tkachuk and Captain Pat Riordan. Now Angadala and Adam Kleberger are young, athletic and abrasive. Anna Monroe will pull the strings at 10, and the inside centre DTH van der Merwe is definitely one for the future. Well, Georgia will be hard and physical as ever. Captain Grigor Lebadze will lead from the charge from the flank. Bezier's Lasha Malaguradze has a delightful boot on him, as does fullback Merab Kiravishkashvili, who you may well remember almost kicked Ireland out of the last World Cup. Late change on the left wing. Lexo Gugagaza comes off the bench. Well, for Canada, watch out for John Moonlight. Comes on to win his first cap, and he is definitely one to watch. Well, you get the feeling in the build-up to this game that this is going to be an intense affair. Both sides are known for their physical approach to the game. The scene is set, snooker table-like service. This is going to be physical. Buckle up.
Yeah, big game. Georgia, with their first appearance in this tournament, really want to do justice to their participation. And Canada, well, they cannot be any more game-hardened with internationals against Ireland and against Wales. So they will really want to get off to a very good start. And they will fancy themselves just to go a little bit better than last year.
Well, Canada unlucky against Wales last weekend. If it hadn't been for a bounce of a couple of unlucky balls, then they may well have won that one. Well, here come the teams. Canada, of course, one of the original 3 Churchill Cup nations, along with England and the US of A. Fifth Churchill Cup, of course, born out of England's North America tour of 2001. And Glendale, as we are here now, is the 9th venue. And, of course, the city in Denver will be the 10th venue here in North America. Of course, 2007 was played in England World Cup year. And here come the teams.
It's going to be a big match-up between the number 6s. I think they really symbolise the heart on both sides. You've got Nanyak Dalla, the Canadian backer, who played excellent rugby in last year's match against the USA in their final match, scoring 2 tries. And then you saw before that Grigor Lebadze, the Toulon player, having to bring all his experience in France to the fore and lead his team from the front.
Now, please remain standing for the national anthem of Canada.
So the anthems are over. So that was the abbreviated version of the Georgian one. That's gone a while. This is going to be physical. Georgia very much an emerging nation in the IRB World Rankings. And Canada, of course, with Kieran Crowley out the helm, moving places. Well, the referee is Greg Garner. So here we go. Can Canada win a pool match in the Churchill Cup? Can Georgia start with a win in their first appearance in this tournament? Pat Ryden, the captain for Canada, will lead from the front with Kevin Takachuk, two very experienced players in the front row there for Canada. James Pritchard will get us underway. And of course, who plays for the Bedford Blues back in England. So Georgia are set for their first appearance in the Churchill Cup. James Pritchard already switches the play, and Canada chase up Lebadzi, the Georgian captain, underneath that one, but he's knocked it on. He's Ed Fairhurst and DTH van der Merwe. Ed Fairhurst, 39th cap this afternoon. To Pat Ryden, his captain and hooker. But Georgia have turned this one over. Bashalaya, the big number 8, comes away. And of course, such a physical pack, weren't they, the Georgians? Really base everything off their front five. And you can see there, the ball does fly up here, doesn't it, in Denver?
Yes, apparently a golf ball travels 10% further, which may not be much use to most people. Just goes in the wrong direction a little bit further, but you could see what his thinking was there, and almost came off just into the far corner. But Canada mixing it up from the start, splitting their forwards on either side of James Pritchard, and crucially, they got the ball back, which is exactly what you want from a kickoff. No ball.
So the first scrum, 20-year-old Andrew Tideman on the tight head for Canada.
Touch. Pause.
He had a really impressive game last weekend. The referee just telling the Georgians to stop.
Stop. Relax. Relax, please.
Georgia certainly with their first turnover there, proving probably what we thought, going to be very competitive at the breakdown. I can remember their match against Ireland in the last World Cup, and they just smashed everything inside up front. Played a 10-man game. I'm not sure whether they'll run the ball that much this afternoon.
Pause. Engage. Now go straight down. Come closer to them.
Andrew Tideman, 20 years of age, and an impressive game last weekend against Wales, and Duncan Jones, all of 50-plus caps. Certainly his second cap then played against Ireland as well.
Crouch.
A lot of attention will be put on him, you think, by Petriashvili. But here go Canada, and it's Aaron Carpenter. The number 8 bobbles around there. Ed Fairhurst has to get the marigolds out and clean that one up. Monroe, just realising there was no scrum half, but he's left it to the forwards and they've taken it on. There's Fairhurst again and Monroe.
Run away, 1-5.
Fairhurst arrives again. Takachuk, very experienced customer. Takachuk and Pritchard using the boot. And already Canada showing a bit of width already, Tyrone.
Absolutely. The Georgian defence was very tight in midfield, and certainly a lot of space in the outer 5-yard channel.
There's your mark.
Canada 3 players in that, and if they can do the hard yards up front, I think they will maybe get some change out of the back 3 and find a little space out wide.
Right, how many numbers? Hold on.
Not lost since the 2007 World Cup. Georgia. Final game was
1 away, Red.
Against France. And of course they did record their first ever World Cup victory against Namibia in that tournament. Here come Canada. Fairhurst. It's good flowing rugby from one side to the other. Showing good intention here. It's Andy Monroe, who does have a very controlling influence on this side. Dalla can't link up with Pritchard, and now Georgia coming away with it. It's Gugava.
Still in, no hands! Right was formed.
Penalty,
Right was
and
formed, you weren't first man on your feet.
Roshvadzi has a look, the scrum half.
There you go.
Well, there was some absolutely lovely counter-attacking from Canada there. But unfortunately giving the ball away and allowing Georgia to clear the lines, because Canada would have been very, very pleased with the start they'd made setting up camp. But here we see the counter-attack, putting the ball infield, but again coming back down and attacking where the ball has come from, getting players behind the ball.
I'll give you a chance for
Lovely play from Canada.
4 or 5.
Yeah, Sean Duke. The try against Wales pulled them level last weekend. It was an impressive start to his international career. But here at Georgia with their first attacking opportunity. Urushadze. Malaguradze. Number 10.
First man right off your feet.
And those attractive line boots that he's wearing.
Off your feet, must be up.
But he does have a very cultured boot, doesn't he?
He does. We saw him training yesterday, and he was both kicking the ball an absolute mile, but also his place kicking was very good. Lots of crossfield kicks as well, and Chip, so certainly fancies himself.
There it is, 14th cap, plays his rugby for Bezier. 100% success rate in the Pro Division 2 in France this season. Only 24 points, so not that many kicks, but very happy to go for goal inside his own half, so Canada will need to be aware of that. Will not want to give penalties away, or certainly cheap penalties away.
And if they have done their homework, Georgia will think exactly the same, because James Pritchard for Canada is a very, very good kicker.
Burek can't take it, and Monroe can though. Lovely run from him, but Bashalaya with a very important tackle for Georgia. Canada with all the early play here. The first 6 minutes. Fairhurst, all this room there. Just tackled though by his opposite number, Roshvadze. Very important tackle from the number 9.
Well, Andy Monroe here showed just how to rescue what could potentially be a difficult situation, reacted really quickly, took the ball on, took the bounce, and got Canada on the front foot. And Ed Fairhurst just noticed that the Georgian defence had spread out, not around the ruck though, and just got caught around the ankles there.
Andy Monroe, Toronto born. Father was in the British Army. And son of Hector Monroe, the former SRU president. He played a little bit of rugby for the Edinburgh Academy, and also played in the Heineken Cup for Edinburgh. And he's a very controlling influence. You saw that last weekend when he came on, when Kieran Crowley, the man in shot there, brought him on. Former New Zealand fullback, of course.
Stop. Come closer, please, Red. Come close to this side, please. Come close to this side so you're not like that. So you're like that, please. Crouch.
Assisted by John Tate.
Touch. Pause.
The
Engage.
Canadian second row, also played some rugby at Cardiff. Big John Tate.
Back feet, please.
Well, Adam Kleberger got a big palm into the face there, but made the tackle.
We said it was going to be physical. Malaguradze. He's gone off the pitch, and he does have a huge boot on him, doesn't he? Sean Duke just having a look. He's not going to take that one quickly, though. Kleberger. University of Victoria, good open side tackle here.
But Kleber, he stuck to his task very, very well.
Bashalar is not a small man. In fact, many of the Georgian pack are small.
Kleberger doing very well at the back of the line out.
Yeah, he's a prominent figure for Canada, Adam Kleberger. Georgia turn it over, but it's illegal.
Fine, okay, 4, roll away.
Well, Georgia doing very well to slow the ball down. Canada getting good clean set piece, but the difficulty they're facing is actually how to create the quick recycled ball. Georgia doing very well in at the fringes, competing very well at the breakdown, and no surprise that one of their national pastimes is wrestling. They're going to be very, very good in that tight contact. See two of them committing to the tackle there.
Yeah, well, the nickname is Lelos, which comes from the indigenous Georgian sport called Lelo, which has strong similarities to rugby. And now they've adopted the word Lelo for a try in Georgia. But it's Canada with a first attempt at points here. First points of the Churchill Cup 2009. Can James Pritchard, who's right in front of the sticks here, get one over? It's off the post. Well, in the first game, balls are bouncing off the post, and here's a man bouncing off tackles, Grigol Lebadze, the Georgian captain.
Two Canada roll.
Georgia will play this tight stuff, won't they? They will
Wait there, wait.
keep it to their forwards and ask Malaguradze, the 10, to put them in positions. Here's Andy Monroe with a bit of space. Now he's got numbers on the left-hand side as well. Canada on the attack. Here's Pritchard. He was very strong in the upper body. He was training with his shirt off, Tyrone, and I remember you remarking saying he was looking like you were looking in the mirror.
It certainly wasn't like looking at you in the mirror, Johnny, it has to be said. You get the feeling that Georgia just be very happy to kick the ball out of their half, not play much rugby at all. And it's really just laying down the challenge to Canada. Can they counter-attack? Can they find the spaces and the gaps?
The wind has picked up here. Must be said, it's behind the backs of the Georgians at the moment, but it does whistle around. Fairhurst. Oh, now here we go. There's a chance for Canada. It's Aaron Carpenter. He just has to pick the ball up. He's got men in support. He doesn't need to use them, and he's dotted down for the first try.
Well, really the first unforced error coming, I think, from the fullback, Merab Kvirashvili. And Aaron Carpenter, he was looking for the bounce to favour him. Once he put boot to ball, and it bubbled up very, very nicely for him. George will be disappointed with that. And they've made Canada work so far for any territory they've had, but that was not dealt with well at all. And Aaron Carpenter won't have much more an easy try than that in his career.
The man from the Bradford Harlequins transferring to Coventry next season, so he'll be plying his trade in England.
Yeah, thank you.
Very easy attempt. Wasn't dealt with at the back very well, was it, by the Georgian fullback, as Pritchard adds the 2 points. Kvirashvili, who's a man who scored 23 points in the World Cup. Penalty and a conversion against Ireland when he was playing at fly half that day. And they almost won, didn't they? 14 points to 9.
Hold on, Georgia.
Not a nice memory for you, Turner.
No, I think the whole of Ireland really was just the nails were bitten to the quick on that one, and it was a case of Georgia very much frustrating Ireland that day. But you know, they cannot afford to give away cheap opportunities like that.
No idea. Is that it? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, this man that day against Ireland very much frustrated them. 3 missed drop goals. I seem to remember a try disallowed, and that last 10 minutes they really were camped on the line. Okay, Virakashvili very much at the heart of that performance that day. So they can perform at the top level, we know that.
Yeah, we do, but you know, there is an element of experience in this Georgia side, but again, they've lost a lot of players to French rugby at the moment, so it's a good opportunity for a lot of the younger players to get great experience here.
Yes, unfortunately, the Georgian squad play their rugby in France and haven't made it here to Denver. Huge amount of the squad play their rugby in France. We'll see French top 14 final this afternoon. Clermont-Auvergne against Perpignan. Aaron Carpenter. 0-0.
Well, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Nick Abendinen in the match prior to this one just actually left the ball due to the sun, but he's front on, and that is just dropped straight down through the big O. And gives Georgia, you know, really first opportunity in an attacking position. Be interesting to see here, do they do a back row move, try and get their forwards into the game, or do they actually spread the ball?
It is very hot out there. We must take that into consideration in the high 80s here.
Well, it is, Johnny, but certainly I think a lot of the intense heat may well have gone out of the day, and certainly not quite as hot as certainly that opening match between the Saxons and Argentina. I mean, it was absolutely blistering in the direct sunlight, and very, very difficult certainly for the Saxons boys, I think, to hit the ground running. But both of these sides will probably have had the luxury of watching the first 40 minutes of that opening game, and it will have given them a great heart at the way Argentina went at the Saxons, and you know, they'll be trying really to get a cut of each other in this opening 40 minutes.
Well, there is Tim Lane, a hugely experienced coach, played in the centre for Australia. In fact, he made his debut against Canada. 2 tries on his debut against Canada.
He's fine now.
59 points to 3 victory in Sydney. The second cap was against Canada as well in Brisbane. With the likes of Michael Lynor, certain Matt Burke, Nick Farr-Jones, Simon Poidevin. Not a bad side then, that Australian side he was part of.
Quality.
Hugely experienced coach as well. Revs up. Gigi Uri taking it in. He's a huge figure at inside centre, isn't he? Really does like to truck it up with the slightly limited game plan, you'd have to say.
Yeah, well, trucking it up there, you need to get the ball back quickly, and it just wasn't coming out there. But certainly, there'll be no lack of physicality from this Georgia side.
Canada not shy in that department as well. But it's another test, isn't it? Because what they lack in possible skill and structure, they certainly make up in the physical elements of the game. Kevin Tkachuk.
Touch.
4 caps as Canada captain, 44th cap today. Huge experience, the loose head. There he is again. Gigi Uri, the number 12.
6 away.
Rokvadze just waits, using his forward, just little pop passes, bring them into the game, and they're quite happy to go around the fringes, but they'll need to keep the ball in hand and not knock it on.
The precision will have to be a bit better, but you know, they recognise the situation. The ball was not coming out terribly quickly, so the pick and go is the obvious option.
So just back off Mark's here, sorry, Mark's here. Oh, too close, James. We're too close. Too close.
You almost thought the bubble ball was intentional there, but Gigori just setting the ball up there. But Canada very good at the breakdown.
Look at that for a scrum.
6-1. 6.
Bazalaya does pick up well from the base, doesn't he?
Advantage, never side onside. Number 7.
Rokvadze is caught by Tkachuk amongst others. But Kleberger is offside, says the referee.
Yeah, he didn't start onside. Didn't start onside.
Well, that was an absolutely massive statement there from the Georgian front row. The Canadian scrum was going back at a rate of knots there, and just reward here, getting an opportunity for an early 3 points.
If you think about Zero Petriashvili, this is debut this afternoon.
Well, they just put their foot down and just really drove the Canadians backwards.
Yeah, Gorgi Shigenti at tight head is a big figure, as is Natariashvili, the hooker.
Watching the training session yesterday, guy standing beside me said that they don't look terribly big, and then they came over to our side and he sort of took his words back and said, can I just take that back? They're absolutely enormous, every one of them very, very physical.
Kavir Ikashvili gets their first points in the Churchill Cup. 7 points to 3. And just rewards purely for that scrum alone.
Yeah, absolutely. It just gives them great heart as well if they can actually get down into the Canadian 22 10-metre line and just put the pressure on. It just shows that they will come up with points. Canada switching the kickoff again.
And who's there? Lebadze, the captain. Leading from the front.
Take him back.
Malukuradze thumps that one downfield. Alan Monroe doesn't have an issue with a son. Pritchard. Duke just a little bobble. And they switch it very nicely, don't they? Left to right with those long wide passes. Alan Monroe cheeking his way down the middle of the field. Fairhurst. Duke again. Pritchard. He's got numbers outside. Van der Merwe flicks it inside to Dalla. Oh, that's lovely rugby. That is super rugby from Canada. Real flow to it. Great to watch. And it's Dalla who touches down for the 5-pointer.
Absolutely fabulous try. Forwards and backs combining. The continuity was first rate, but again, it was set up from absolute quality counter-attack. And what they do is they push the ball, one pass, somebody comes back on the switch, and they go back in the same direction. Andrew Munro's been very influential. Lovely step there, but crucially, they keep the ball, and look at the numbers out there in the wide spaces. But they kept their composure. Beautiful over the head pass, and we highlighted them before the match. Nanyak Dalla, and he just pops up. He's got a knack for scoring tries, and like any good flanker, he just follows the ball. But what they've done here, composure, lovely sense of where Dalla was, and a terrific finish. Absolute first-rate try from Canada.
Yeah, lovely vision. Dietrich Van der Merwe. And Dalla, I certainly remember scoring a try against the USA in last year's Churchill Cup to push them past the USA. And James Pritchard, another one from out wide. Would you believe it? Off the woodwork again.
You see Andrew Munro there. He has been hugely influential, really attacked the gain line. Great confidence, great footwork. And look at that offload. That is the thing that makes this try, keeps the ball alive. And Georgia don't have an opportunity to fully restructure and reline their defence. But you have to say, great attack from Canada.
Find out how to be a great leader on the field.
There he is, very experienced player, isn't he, Andrew Monroe? And of course, the other team in this pool is Ireland. And they were training yesterday.
Yes,
there they are.
They arrived yesterday, playing on Wednesday evening against Canada. And really the big thing for them, as it was for England, you see Declan Kidney and Alan Gaffney there, the senior management. Big thing is trying to acclimatise as quickly as possible. The altitude, you cannot stress enough how difficult it is to play in this, how difficult it is to acclimatise as well. But you just see Kidney and Gaffney, just proves how seriously Ireland A are taking this tournament. The senior management is over, the senior medics are over. So, you know, those players can't say that they don't have any opportunity. The senior guys are here. They will be stressing that they are on parade, they're on trial. And if they have good performances here, that can propel them up into the senior squad.
And also with them, Jerry Flannery and Thomas O'Leary. Of course, supposed to be in South Africa with the Lions, but of course, sadly, injuries, devastating for players to get that kind of injury before a tournament.
Well, I just don't think there can be anything more heartbreaking. You know, it's a dream come true to get named in that Lions squad, and to be, you know, to have to pull out prior to even getting on the plane is just, it's the toughest possible way to miss out.
Then of course it creates opportunities for others.
Yes, and you know, those opportunities, you know, there will be injuries on the Lions Tour. Everybody knows it, and it's very much there by the grace of God. Some replacements make it, some don't, and that's also, you know, the key excitement and buzz about being on that standby list. You just simply do not know.
You enjoyed it anyway.
Well, I had a very brief time, but it's just quite simply the best trip I think you can possibly get on.
Well, Georgia's inclusion here very much pushed by the IRB. Want to get them some decent rugby, of course. Georgia very much play the same teams over and over again, the likes of Germany and Russia. And it's not a good restart. It'll be a scrum to Canada right on the halfway spot.
I think that might well be a case of the altitude playing its part. Tried to mix it up, went to the right, but just overcooked it.
Right, okay. Just set up where you want. Okay. All right. Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage. Ball in straight, please. Get it in.
Carpenter. Fairhurst. Just threading it through. And Monroe. Duke. Little down the Merv. That's not his best moment, but it's not knocked on. Basilaya changes one way, goes back the other way.
Move right.
Loses a boot in the process.
Take him back. 6.
Vera Kavishvili. Monroe.
Chase it up. Come out the tandem.
Bit of aerial ping pong. Monroe. Oh, it's a lovely take. Oh, I needed to give it. Kleberger. Kleberger's got Dalla on the outside. To Kachuk. Now, there's numbers on the right. There's numbers and space on the left, though. And Georgia have just about recovered the situation through Gugava.
We saw tremendous commitment from Andy Monroe there. It wasn't the greatest kick, but he just waited for it, and he rose up. And you have to say that Georgian fullback Kurakashvili did not commit himself to that high ball. You just wonder, mind you, when the ball came back, why did they kick it away? Surely it would have been better just to keep it in the hands.
And all the space was on the left-hand side, and Georgia actually covering very well.
Monroe rose beautifully there, but this is again the offload off the ground. Commitment to keeping the ball alive.
S'il vous plaît. Merci.
Monroe, very much the man of the moment in this opening quarter. Kieran Hearn, number 13 for Canada, from the Castaway Wanderers.
No.
Fairhurst playing it 10. Kleberger can't take it, so Georgia have possession from the knock-on.
I was about to say that Canada looked far more comfortable on the ball, but then of course the pass is forced, and I think Kleberger slightly overran it. But it's been a big impact as well from the Canadian back row. Kleberger, Carpenter and Dalla as well, as you see in the picture. You know, they've got their hands on the ball, supporting very well, carrying the ball.
And having seen the last couple of weeks, they've obviously, the games against Wales and Ireland, they've very much gained some confidence, obviously being together as a squad for 4 or so weeks as they've been, and against tough opposition like Wales and Ireland, they've come out here this afternoon with real intent, and they're being accurate as well.
Ball in, please. Thank you. 6, stay down.
Georgia being accurate at the scrum.
8 arrive up.
Did we expect anything else?
Holding on.
Canada, penalty.
Holding on, 6 on his feet.
Well, the Georgians holding on there, but scrum half Rokvadze was actually running backwards as he gave the ball, and they were always behind the gain line there.
It's certainly a young squad for the Georgians, with 5 players from the under-20 squad, one from in fact from the under-18 squad are here. Just those players missing from their French club commitments.
You'll see Dalla doing very well, makes the tackle but doesn't lose his footing. Very strong base competing for the ball.
But Georgia have got some possession from the line-outs. Kacharavza.
Sorry.
Malaguradze, there's that big boot of his that may well bounce beautifully. And as beautiful as a kick can be, that was certainly beautiful.
Yeah, he had the distance, but also the bounce just took it into touch. And Georgia, if they're going to have a chance in this game, they're going to have to take points on the rare occasions that they get into the Canadian 22. So have to put a lot of pressure on the line out here, compete very, very well, and just try and get some points.
And of course now with players unable to take the maul down, may well help them, but Tyler Hodgson took the line out for Canada. And Kuvrian, along with Mike Burak in the engine room for Canada. Virakashvili thinks he was tripped. He's got his arms out wide. Don't think any of the officials have seen it. There's no flags up. And Canada have gone from one corner to the opposite corner in a matter of minutes.
Well, you see the reaction on the Georgian fullback's face, but it was Beckham-esque. He absolutely played for this. He was looking at the referee.
What mark would you give him, Tyrone, for that one?
I think a perfect 10.
Oscars all round.
Stay there, please, Red.
Not been the best 26 minutes of Kia Virakashvili's career, you would say, the fullback.
3 red, let go.
Not the easiest name to say as well.
You're doing remarkably well, I have to say.
Knock on.
Rokvadze, the scrum half, is having a tough time, isn't he, apart from at the scrums. And when you have an element of your game that is so dominant like the scrum, how do you try and get that into play, Tyrone?
Well, I think, you know, when you said earlier on about they're used to playing the same teams, having such a dominant scrum and having, you know, maybe expertise and experience at 9 and 10, you don't have to expand your game to actually beat those same teams, and they come up against slightly better teams, and this is why this tournament is so important for them. It's an education, it's a development process to actually realise they have to add to their game plan to be able to go up that next level in terms of performance.
And for a 20-year-old like Gorgi Rokvadze at scrum half there, I mean, last year he was playing in the under-20 Junior World Cup in Chile, and Georgia, I mean, came 3rd, so there is plenty of talent in the country.
Well, there's plenty of talent, and I think there's also a real desire to develop, and I think that's key as well. There's a real commitment to self-improve. They're self-critical, and they do want to improve. And getting the likes of Tim Lane in there adds a foreign, experienced head there. He can bring all his experiences to bear.
Kleeberger and Basolai just exchanging pleasantries on the side of that ruck. Dalla. Canada going for another try. And they've got it. Try number 3. And it's Van der Merwe, this man of the moment for Canada Rugby.
Well, we said that Georgia, when they get into the Canadian scoring zone, they need to come away with points and be disappointed. They were deep in the Canadian 22, and instead it's been turned around, trying to defend their line. You have to say that's weak. First up tackling. Van der Merwe, very strong, but that tackle should have been made.
Just be mindful now. Eyes on. Eyes on.
Strong boy against Ireland. He was on the wing last weekend against Wales. He was at 13, now this week at 12. Kieran Crowley.
And Gundishvili, the number 7, he got back to make the tackle, but once that front up defence was broken, he's too physical and strong a guy to be stopped from that range.
Yeah, Kieran Crowley very much putting emphasis on Van der Merwe going forward, creating stuff. An abrasive character. Pritchard now. Can he get it in between the posts rather than hitting them? Oh, it's just a gentle stroke, a gentle chip of the ball, and it does go through the uprights this time. And James Pritchard has added another 2 points to Canada's score.
Canada 19, Georgia 3.
Yeah, James Pritchard getting the conversion. Pritchard was on my fantasy team for the last World Cup. Crucial, you have a winger, he was on the wing at that stage for Canada, and a winger who's kicking the points, and invariably he got the points for Canada. Crucial man on my team.
So pleased. Tyler Hodgson takes the restart. Pritchard is annoyed with himself at that kick. But Van Kamper's there and put pressure on Georgia. Malaguradze, the fly half. Tall, rangy player, who almost reminds you of David Skreller, actually. Sort of same gait. Now Georgia pushing forward. Malaguradze again. And Shigenti, the tight head, showing a little step in there as well. Sean Duke goes in to try and turn this one over for Canada, and now the bodies pile in red shirts. Very messy in there, isn't it? Clean possession is very hard to come by for Georgia, but they have got a penalty now.
Yeah, Kevin Tkachuk came in from the side there, and I didn't think the referee was going to let him away with it. Little lack of composure from the prop. He should know better than that.
Yeah, a raft of experience behind him, isn't he? Tkachuk. Good Grizzly Adams beard he's got on him, isn't he? Pat Ryden. There he is, Kevin Tkachuk.
He's one of the senior players in this side, been around, as you can see, 9 years. Triple Oxford Blue as well, so has had a lot of experiences in different countries, and very much a leader. That's why Canada don't need the likes of Tkachuk giving cheap penalty opportunities away.
Yeah, he plays at Glasgow, but he's played at Henley and Birmingham Solihull with 14 appearances in the Heineken Cup, so in terms of European rugby,
Okay, time off.
Plenty of experience at the very highest level.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Replacement.
And there he is.
3, 2, 1. Substitution.
Former wrestler, in fact, Kevin Zakachuk, using that wrestling skills there. But he was offside.
He didn't look too happy either. Bit of an eye injury as a result as well.
Hold on. Step up, Red. No, Red. No.
It's very interesting, actually, to I know you picked it up there on the referees' mic, with the Georgian players actually talking French to each other. So many of them play in France. And they've won the line out here. Now this is a good driving maul with a couple of new front rowers in there. Daduna I'll start again.
Number 7 came round.
Daduna Shavili and Vasilin Kukovin. 16 and 17 on the field for Petr Shiashvili and Natarashvili.
Well recovered, Johnny. I don't know about you, but I think it's great to see the driven maul back. You know, when it's done well, it's virtually unstoppable. The Georgians got a bit of a squeeze on there.
Stay down, Red.
And they need to get points, entering just the last 7 minutes.
So can Georgia get something back before half-time? Pat Ryden is told to get back on side Georgia. It's gone down. Kukovin goes round the side, but it's excellent defence from Canada, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was Nanyak Dalla again in there.
Time off. Skipper, please. Anywhere in the right side, this is official warning. Do it again. It's a penalty try. Okay, pulling it down.
The referee is saying we're in the red zone. He's absolutely right. Georgia very close to the Canada line, and they're going to have to be careful.
Yeah, no surprise, going for the line out again.
Thank you.
Canada have been warned. Next person who infringes, bringing them all down.
So Georgia, another attempt here.
That's the gap now.
Under the blue canopy of the Denver sky. Oh, Shigintin! They have got to try. Dada Unashvili have their try.
Well, they have worked at this maul, and they have been very, very smart, taking advantage of the rule change again. They get the ball, and Canada go straight at the heart of this maul, but what they do is they change the point of contact. The ball comes to the fringe, and take advantage of the Canadian defence, which is in the heart of the maul. You see just moving to their left-hand side. And they're absolutely delighted with that first try in their first Churchill Cup.
Thanks very much, Paul.
Dadunashvili only just come on the field, and he's got himself a try. There's some Georgian writing. Over to you, Tyrone, to translate that one.
Pass. I think Johnny, maybe Johnny's just saying Georgia is not only a state in the south of the US of A. Talking to people in the hotel saying about Georgia playing in this tournament, you actually had to explain to them that it wasn't Georgia, USA, it was actually Georgia, the country. A few of them didn't realise that there was actually a country called Georgia.
And they will be absolutely delighted. Their first ever try in the Churchill Cup.
And crucially, it keeps Canada honest. They've had much better of the exchanges, but just snapping at Canada's heels.
Here's Pritchard.
Doing that switch back again, hitting that short side.
Carpenter.
They're always gaining ground from that counter-attack.
They could keep finding some good ground for Canada there, and as far as they'll be concerned, they'll want to get some points back here. Only 9 points the difference, but they have been the dominant side, certainly creating far more than Georgia.
They have the interplay between forwards and backs has been much better in this Canadian side, but certainly there's a big challenge to their pack, because this Georgia pack, very physical, have been really taking them up, particularly at scrum time, and they've also shown through that dribbling line out that if they can get close to the Canada line, they can convert that into points.
Lebadzi, right at the heart of everything, isn't he? The Georgian captain. Malaguradze. And Camp was there wanting to see if he could take the quick line out, but bounced off his immaculate service, you must say, in this purpose-built rugby stadium, the first one, municipally owned Rugby Pacific Stadium, first one in North America. Great venue for what is a great tournament, a great development tool, the Churchill Cup. If you were talking about the Lions earlier, the likes of Keith Earls was playing in this tournament last year, Ugo Monya, and our British and Irish Lions. That says everything you need to know about how much developing can be done here at the Churchill Cup.
Very smart play from Canada. They noticed that the Georgia left winger Mashkanelli was in the defensive line, nobody at home on the short side. And Andrew Monroe just putting the ball down there, getting some vital yards.
Right. Fairhurst. Oh, there he is, Van der Merwe. We've spoken about what a danger he is, and he's showing it there. He's flipped out, surely. Pritchard needs to draw the man, and it's Duke. And Sean Duke has dropped it.
Time off. Just going upstairs, Paul.
A golden opportunity.
Okay, check that for me, please. Is the try
He knows it.
And advise me what's going to happen next, please.
Well, Van der Merwe had done all the hard work. Broke the tackle of the Georgia number 8, Basilei. They got the ball out that wide channel again.
That's fine.
But you have to say that the fullback, Kvirashvili, has redeemed himself with that last-ditch tackle. And Duke, conversely, will be absolutely kicking himself.
And you can always tell by players' reaction, can't you? Duke.
Thank you very much.
And what was a nice moment was Andrew Monroe, very experienced player, came straight over to him, the young guy, and said, "Don't worry, mate, next time you'll dot it down."
So new
He
props.
doesn't look too happy, but again, that keeps Georgia in this game. And Canada scored that try. There's less than 2 minutes in the clock. All of a sudden, it just extends that lead by maybe over 15 points. That's a big difference going in at half-time. But as it is at the moment, they're still in the game, but need to clear their lines.
Van der Merwe showing again there, quick feet, physical player, has been playing at James Bay, but will play at Glasgow next season, signed this week. Broke his ankle a couple of seasons back, got into the gym, put in a lot of upper body strength. He's playing, and he's playing all across the back line, and he's showing that kind of form straight through the middle. Van Camp has knocked it on, says the referee, and it was, wasn't it?
Well, the vagaries of a bouncing ball just caught Van Camp out there. I thought Andrew Monroe slightly got a flyer.
Thank you very much. Knock on. Okay. Français ou anglais? Français, oui. Okay, so new guy. Make sure we keep it up. Same with you.
It's quite interesting, Adam Monroe, he's on the right wing, defending there.
Crouch.
Van Camp is defending at 10.
Touch.
So does Charlie Hodgson and Sale.
Release, please.
Defensive format.
Now.
Ross do it with Danny Cipriani as well. What's your take, Tyrone?
Well, what you can see is Kieran Crowley's influence in this. You know, actually making the most of what he's got. It's not the biggest supply base of players. It's using your resources as efficiently as you possibly can.
Turn one over, the Canadians. A tight head against Georgia at the scrum.
Play on, balls out.
Doesn't happen often. Tkachuk. Oh, look at the prop running in the open spaces. Pritchard now in this corner. Again, Canada pushed out the touch, and you must say, well done, Georgia. Really good defence from them. Right on the stroke of half-time, and Georgia twice have kept Canada out in that corner.
Crucial, the last 5 minutes has kept Georgia in this game. They will be, they'll be happy that they're still within sniffing distance, but equally Canada have played well, played with good structure, good counter-attacking, and just haven't taken all their chances. But they will feel that this next 40 minutes that they need to get even more points on the board. They feel confident about the second half.
Well, Canada, we were talking about half-time, Tyrone, Kieran Crowley and John Tate, along with Morgan Williams, part of this Canadian coaching team, really have put an excellent structure into the Canadian game.
Well, they came in to their positions just over a year ago, and I don't think they had had sufficient time to have a huge impact, certainly in last year's Churchill Cup. I have to say, I think Canada are 100% better today than they were in the whole of the Churchill Cup last year. They have structure, their set pieces very solid, they're attacking down the middle, they're breaking the game in, and they're keeping their width and just putting the ball out in those wide spaces. And 3 tries in the first half, they're actually getting points on the board. And I have to say, I've been very impressed.
And another thing I think worth noting is the confidence with the ball in hand, the likes of Andy Monroe offloading and popping it up, even Kevin Tkachuk with that break and a beautiful pass off the right.
Well, the natural instinct, I think, both in USA Rugby and Canada, has been to take the ball into contact, to really truck it up. What he's got them doing is instinctively now looking for the offload, trying to keep the ball alive, and that is what has led to those 3 great tries in the first half.
So a mistake from Georgia at the kick-off. Canada, with 3 tries on the board, will want to get the bonus point try.
No, sorry. White scrum. Reg, you've gone round. Reg, you've gone round.
Slightly confused there as Georgia ripped through the Canadian pack. Referee initially gave a penalty to Canada and realised he put his wrong arm up.
Spinning it round.
Well, listening to Morgan Williams there about areas that they have to fear. He didn't mention the scrum and he didn't mention the driven line-out, and I think if Georgia are going to get back into this game, those 2 areas are certainly the areas that they can dominate in. We've already seen it in the opening 40. They're so strong at scrum time, and if they can get in deep into the Canadian 22 and that driven line-out, the maul, it can be very dangerous.
Mirab Kevirakashvili puts Georgia down right on the 22-metre line. Look at the power of the scrum. 2 new front rows came on in the first half. Just hearing that my Suradzi is now on the field. Number 19. One for Basilaya. Number 8. Little chip into the 22. Sean Duke is there. And he punts downfield. Malagouradze is there with Kevirakashvili. And a Merv. Another new man, Mike Suradzi. Look at the size of him. Straight into Dalla, but Dalla makes a nuisance to himself. You've got to cut these Georgians down low, haven't they? And that's what Dalla did there.
Straight off.
Well, Dalla is wreaking havoc at the breakdown. Very low centre of gravity, very powerful in the backside and the thighs, and he just gets in on the ball, doesn't get bumped off, and just creating those turnover opportunities. But you have to say, Georgia had the ball in a great attacking position there. They spread the ball to one wing and brought it back, and the kick was made. And just as the kick was made, you look at all the players outside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players, and Canada only had 2 players out wide. You know, they really should have kept the ball in hand and attacked the space. You get the feeling if Canada had been in that situation, the ball would have been kept in hand.
But last year, Canada may well have taken into the contact or kicked. I have to say that Kieran Crowley
Well,
New
that's what you
Zealand
call
All Black selector.
That's what you call progression, you know, and that's noticeable progression.
Yes, it is noticeable. Pritchard. Gets the 3 points. And Canada will just breathe a sigh of relief. 12 points to lead now. And they'll want to push on, won't they? Get that fourth point in the bag.
They will. Now they are, you know, that Georgia will have to score 2 converted tries. And you just wonder whether they've got the playmaking ability to break down this Canadian defence enough. And Canada, really, this is another test for them. Can they really be ruthless and put Georgia to the sword?
Take it back now. Take it back.
Fairhurst. The box kick. Kleberger chasing up. Advantage now here to Canada. Van der Merwe against Malaguradzzi.
Stay on your feet.
Georgia seem to have recovered the situation. Canada pouring through. But Georgia need a kicker here. Nobody on this left touchline for Canada. May not need to be, as Pritchard takes it, just fumbles. He's got Anderman Rowe there. Aaron Carpenter on the right. Pritchard has a look up. Using that powerful leg drive to catch it. Great hands again. Oh! Guava. Knocked on.
No.
As Kukovin rushes in.
Tackle.
Oh, he was away, wasn't he?
Yeah, but you know, this game is going to be decided in slim margins. But what you see here, for me, that was so important. You saw Pat Riordan and Kevin Tkachuk, you know, 1 and 2 handling the ball, keeping the ball alive. But it could easily have been a 7-pointer.
And it's not the first time that we've seen those two, the Riordans, the Tkachuks, with ball in hand.
Pause, engage.
And looking for the offload, looking for a man in support who's in a better position to push the move on.
Yeah, but here we have the area that is providing the sternest challenge to the Canada side.
Gone down this side. Okay, white player this side went down.
Daduma-Ashvili against Tiedemann.
Okay.
They've got it. I mean,
release.
Tiedemann as well. I mean, he's a young boy. He was under 20s last year. This is an enormous learning curve for him.
Crouch.
Duncan Jones of Wales,
Touch,
1 week.
Pause, engage.
And then the 17 stone for Daduma-Ashvili. With 19 caps to his name for Georgia the next week. A fairly tough few weeks for the new player. Anderman Rowe. It's
Play on.
a bit of a mistake. Todua is there for Georgia. Here's Anderman Rowe again, and a chance to just make up for that loose kick. Fairhurst. They're an experienced couple of halfbacks, aren't they? And they do steer the ship well for Canada.
Well, just lovely. They thought about bringing the ball back again on the counter-attack, but Fairhurst saw the space and just threaded the ball through. Just great execution. And playing with, you know, real clarity. When they take a decision, you know, they go for it. And you get the feeling Georgia sometimes, when the ball goes behind them, not really certain of what they want to do, taking the ball on, passing, taking into contact.
Skipper, Canada. Thank you.
Gundishvili.
7 off legs.
Flanker taking that one at the line out. Malaguradzzi, lovely offload. And Gugava kicks it straight out. His arms are still in the air, appealing for the late tackle. And Canada have taken it quickly. Here's Anderman Rowe. Numbers on this left-hand side. Hearn. Duke was there. He'll have to come in and be part of the ruck now. Fairhurst waits, has a look, just assesses the options. Hudson Fairhurst again. Little chip and chase. Van der Merwe is chasing it up. And now Georgia have taken a quick line out.
Stay wide.
He's getting... Pace is just picking up here, isn't it? It's afternoon heat here at Infinity Park.
Yeah, we've seen some great kicking skills in the last couple of minutes. That one from the Georgian, from Todja, the winger, but also from Fairhurst, the Canadian number 9. He's just put 2 lovely grubber kicks through, working the touchline.
Burak with the line outtake.
Let him down, let him down.
Todua. He's pretty secure at the back there on the right wing, isn't he? You have to say, unlike his other 2 back 3 partners.
Yes, he has been solid, but you know, when the ball goes behind them, they're just not as secure, getting the players back to support them, and Canada causing the problems, getting in on the ball and causing turnovers.
Time off then.
Going to have an experienced coaching team now. The helm, Tim Lane, Damien Cummins is the assistant coach.
And thank you.
Johnny Namu, another assistant coach. Capped by Tonga, also played for our very own Tony Diprose's Harlequins. And they really are steering this Georgian side. The president saying this week it was an honour to participate in such a big tournament as the Churchill Cup, and thankful of their inclusion.
And it's very much a long-term plan, Johnny. You know, and these players will go back, and not only does it help them specifically in their own game, but they will go back to Georgia and share those experiences that they've had over here, and the whole culture of rugby in Georgia will actually benefit as a result.
There he is, the former Harlequin, Johnny Namu. By magic, a Harlequin shirt in the crowd.
Knock on, number 8 at the base.
It's nicely put together, wasn't it?
Knock on.
Johnny Namu, he looks in sufficiently good shape that if Georgia have any sort of problems in their centres, that he could easily go on and do himself justice as well.
Yeah, when you have the likes of Tim Lane and Johnny Namu in charge, they really are going to put a...
Okay, wait. Crouch.
Really will put a structure down for Georgia and push them on to the next level. Matt Evans is on for Canada. Duke is off. James Pritchard goes on. Evans, who plays in England in Gloucester at Harbury College. He's now on at fullback.
Get there, on your toes, guys.
Fine kick.
Again, just good decisions. Ran the ball back, thought about taking it on, but just put the ball, getting good territory, good gain line. Wins every single time.
And we wondered when it was going to bubble up and bubble over, and we may well have got to that point. Assistant referee's flag is out.
Captain,
they're all there, aren't they? Burak.
You're not helping. You're not helping.
And Dadunashvili is there.
Flag. Time off. Away, please.
It was really
Away,
only a
please.
matter of time, wasn't it? You have to say.
Away, please.
Well, it has been combative
Hold
with
on,
both
hold on,
sets
hold
of
on.
forwards.
Stop. In a minute. Okay, I haven't seen anything. Tell me what you see. Yep. Yep.
Then connect after everything's gone on. Comes in, third man in,
2 swings.
Okay. Recommendation? Just a penalty against 9 whites. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Nerf. Captain. Nerf.
Yeah, Rokvadze in the head guard. The scrum half was actually the one with the active swinging
Penalty
arms.
Against you. Okay. Discipline. Okay, otherwise next time we have no option. Okay, back 10.
I think the word for discipline in Georgian is discipline, Johnny, if I heard the interpreter there correctly. We're going to add that to your Lelo for try. 2 words we know in Georgian now.
Perhaps that was on those signs down below us earlier. Discipline. So penalty to Canada for the ill discipline by Georgia. And Pritchard, who is a very good kicker, isn't he? 216 points in the first divisions for the Bedford Blues this season.
Isn't it typical as well, Johnny? All the big forwards out there, and it's the scrum half who gets penalised.
He did sort of swing an arm and then sort of move back rather quickly, didn't he? And here he is. His 8th start in the Churchill Cup, 78 points before this afternoon, James Pritchard. Chance with another 3 points here. He really does have a lovely strike, doesn't he?
Yeah,
beautiful rhythm.
Absolutely effortless.
Penalty kick by Canada. Number 18, James Richard.
Here we see Rokvadze coming in.
Canada 25, Georgia 10.
I have to say,
And it's just, there it is, yeah, just to the back there, behind Yuroshadze, the second row. Anyway, on with the game.
Away 7 whites.
Pritchard, 2 second half penalties have pushed Canada out to a 15-point lead.
Backwards. 12, let him go. Come out, white. 17.
Fairhurst leaves it, sensibly so. Goes over the dead ball line. So we'll go back to where it was kicked for the scrum, of course.
Davey Marks here, yes?
well, Morgan Williams just after half-time said that Canada really wanted to keep the pace in the game and to keep running the ball and attacking Georgia, but you know, they haven't really played with exactly the same energy levels that they had in the first half. 3 tries, and you know, the big challenge for them is now, you know, can they just keep the foot in the gas and really try and close out this game and score a few more tries.
9 years as Canada's scrum half. Morgan Williams, 51 caps. And he won't have enjoyed watching that kick from Ed Fairhurst, his replacement as the Canadian number 9. Cornish Pirates, of course, Ed Fairhurst.
Hello.
His nickname is the Ghost.
Okay, let's go then, Reds.
And
Here we go, lads.
you know, he's a decent player. 37 caps. You know, they need those sort of senior players to front up and give direction, and certainly Fairhurst and I have to say Andrew Munro have done very well this afternoon.
Played in every Churchill Cup, Ed Fairhurst. And here come Georgia. It's Gigiuri. They've just knocked it on. How many chances have Georgia blown now? Pritchard.
No.
Is taken down.
Knock on.
Knock on. Pritchard
Right,
is
15.
having a
15.
word here.
15.
Maisaradze and Pritchard.
Away,
Pritchard
please.
wants to have another nibble again.
Walk away. Walk away. Merci.
Gugava. I mean, this is...
Knock on.
I mean, James Pritchard is, I mean, he's a strong man, certainly, but he's not the biggest man out there. And Maisaradze is...
Well, here we
he's a
see
bigger
your man
customer.
Van der Merwe getting absolutely blasted out of the way. Didn't make that tackle.
Time off.
And great awareness. You know, Mash Kennelly came round, but just that ball didn't go to hand. And he came on a great line outside the Georgian number 12, but a little follow through Number 19, Maisaradze, sorry.
Okay, ready, Reds? Okay, ready? Just
I tell you, I mean, as we go later in the day, you'd expect the heat to be slightly going out of there, but it's actually bubbling up even more so in this match.
Crouch. Stand up, please. Give yourself a bit more room, Canada 3.
So another scrum for Canada to try and stop Georgia rumbling over them. Fairhurst, he's getting the ball in very quickly, isn't he? And Ryden,
16 away.
the quick strike down channel 1. Fairhurst to Hearn. Big boot does travel far up here, doesn't it? The Mile High City.
And you're absolutely right, Johnny. You know, that Canadian scrum has been under pressure. And there's only a couple of things you can actually do. One, you get the ball in quickly. Two, you get a quick strike. And also puts the pressure on the number 8 to actually take charge of the situation. Aaron Carpenter has done very well. He's cleaned up a lot of difficult ball at the back and just kept the ball and set it up again for the rest of his pack.
Yeah, as soon as the hit is done, the ball is in. It's struck back very quickly. Aaron Carpenter, man who will be playing in Coventry next season. Very good pickup, and he's had a good game, hasn't he, Aaron Carpenter, as have the whole of the Canadian back row.
What they've done is, one, they've competed very well on the ground for the ball and created a lot of turnover opportunities, but also when the likes of Ander Munro or Van der Merwe, when they make breaks, they support the ball carrier. They're always there for the pop pass off the ground or the offload.
Kleberg at the line-out. Munro, Van der Merwe slipping the tackle and getting the offload away. Bright future, that man.
No. For me, not.
And again, Kevin Tkachuk, he's there, he's looking for the ball. And players, you know what I say, you've got a prop outside you, may not be happy to give it to him, but all these Canadian player skill levels.
It is. Doesn't seem like it.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think it's confidence. You know, once you're confident on the ball, a lot of things are possible.
Okay, on the engagement, please.
But the precision of the first half hasn't really been there in this, the third quarter of the game.
Doug Wooldridge is on for Canada and tie head. And here comes Georgia again. Virakashvili. Kick down the line. But Canada defending very well, sliding across, using the touchline as an extra defender.
Yeah, and the Georgian fullback just slightly running out of ideas there. Really, all that has happened there is the possession has been given away. Maybe he's got 5 yards out of it, but again, maybe he needs to slide out and bring his outside man in on a switch, because he actually took out the last 2 defenders.
Backwards.
Gugava. Virakashvili. Oh, lovely offload there. Here come Georgia with ball in hand. Kasharavza. Maisaradze has to go in and play scrum half. Lebadze.
And there's men out wide here in the white spaces.
Good hit coming in. It's Carpenter. Good game from Aaron Carpenter this afternoon.
7, lost ball. 7. Complete mess.
There, the referee describing that situation as a complete mess, and I'm not entirely sure I could have put it any better myself. It's a real mess on the floor there. The Canadian back row really getting themselves involved, and young Adam Kleberg, a real open side role, isn't he? He's all over the field and making a real nuisance of himself.
Yes, but we've been lauding the Canadians for their offloading game, but lovely play there. And the Georgians showing that they can also do it.
Okay, number 16 red, 16 white. Okay, that's a yellow card, right? Okay, captain, 16.
But they had
Captain,
men in
16.
the outer channels, but Canada pushed up well in the midfield and just nullified the attack that Georgia had built up.
And the referee's patience has been stretched enough.
Okay, s'il vous plaît. We've spoken. Okay, foul play on the floor against you. We've already spoken twice. Okay, it's a yellow card against you. 10 minutes. Discipline. Yellow card against you.
Dadunashvili, the man who scored Georgia's first ever try in the Churchill Cup, has now been sent to the naughty boy step for 10 minutes.
No. I've spoken.
And that will weaken Georgia in their real attacking weapon, which is the scrum. Of course, they'll have to bring on another front row. They've taken 2 off already, so we'll wait to see what happens when the next scrum occurs.
I think Canada will just be content just to... He's just taken Kleberger around the neck, I think, there. I don't think it was anything more than that, but certainly I think the ref has just had enough and needs to take the heat and the sting out of some of the aggravation that's been simmering over the last few minutes.
Kleberger at the line out, and Monroe, that's an excellent line from him, and just flipped it inside. Well, let's hear from Tim Lane, the Georgian captain. He's with Will Chignall.
Tim, how are you reading this in the second half?
Look, man, it's tough for us, obviously. You know, we've got a pretty inexperienced team. Defensively, we've been pretty poor, given them a couple of soft tries down that short side there, for example. But look, they're having a dig. They're getting stuck in. There's a lot of guys playing their first game, big game in a foreign country. So great experience. We just got to keep on fighting.
Are you actually tearing your hair out, or are you actually being able to take the positives and seeing where you can actually springboard forwards?
Look, it's a bit expected, you know. So we should be doing things a lot better, but that's the problems we have at the moment. So we just got to keep on rolling.
Any chance of turning this one around?
Look, hopefully, yeah. You know, had our winger kept the ball on the intercept there, had we, just a couple of bad decisions here and there. You know, we could have scored, maybe once or twice more. Makes a big difference, obviously.
And in terms of being in the Churchill Cup, Tim, how important is it?
No, it's very important for Georgian rugby. The problem is that the majority of our players are in France. They start their training 29th of June. We've got 16 or 18 guys back in France, basically preparing for the next season. So it's not ideal for us. It's not ideal for the tournament as well. So we've got to hope next year that we can come with our full strength team.
Thanks, Tim. Back to you, Johnny.
Yeah, interesting hearing from Tim Lane there, former Australian backs coach, of course, under Rod McQueen, when they won the Bereslow Cup and the Tri-Nations and did the World Cup in 1999. Well, there's Dadunashvili, just taking Kleberger around the neck. There he is wearing 16.
Well, all of a sudden, Kleberger's face just completely disappeared. And it did look more like a wrestling manoeuvre than anything that belongs in the rugby pitch. But not too malicious, but I think it's just the build-up of the offences in the game leading to that yellow card.
Yeah, I've had an excellent run of late. Georgia.
So scrum white, yeah?
Still very hot here in Glendale. Here in Denver.
Time is on.
Plenty of people here soaking up the rugby. This, of course, North America's largest international rugby tournament. And Georgia in their first year, having not lost since the Rugby World Cup 2007.
We happy with everybody?
Had a couple of wins against Russia, a couple against Spain, Portugal as well.
Pause.
Even beat Italy A 25 points to 3. Now, John Moonlight is on. He is one for the future, I've been told reliably. Cousin of the Sevens legend Dave Moonlight. Van der Merwe. Fairhurst is caught. Lebadzi. To Kachuk. Oh, it's good hands from Canada. Burak involved with Carpenter, Fairhurst, and Monroe. Excellent up line from him. Oh,
Advantage right.
as Matt Evans had the chance, the line was right in front of him. Now come Georgia storming out of their own 22. It's Maisoradze. Tuada. Oh, he's flicked it back inside. Uroshadze is holding on, and the move comes to nothing. But great intent shown by Georgia there.
The 19 Maisoradze really making up for the odd error earlier on in the game. But here we see Canada had a full backline. Monroe took the decision to take the gap, and he had two men in the wide channel again. But Matt Evans, the ball should have stuck. But great endeavour here, and offloading. And Maisoradze, you know, the key thing is, look at the great offload and lovely interplay again, composure on the ball, and shows that they do have a lot of attacking potential.
Georgia.
But interesting listening to Tim Lee in there, an honest assessment. You know,
how many Canada?
Very, very low expectations of what Georgia really can produce here. Anything is going to be a bonus. I think this first year is really just a case of giving the young players some experience.
It's that word exposure, isn't it? Exposure to a tournament like this, the likes of the England Saxons, the Argentina Jaguars, full test sides in the form of USA and Canada, and Ireland A joining the party on Wednesday. Of course, round 2 is Wednesday night, and final round of pool games next Sunday. Then we have a full week until finals day. All 3 finals across the city at Dick's Sporting Goods. There's Van der Merwe again, showing that strength, getting through 2 or 3 tackles. Monroe, Burak.
Don't touch him, no!
Kleberger.
Last 17. Come here. 17. No. Come here.
Wooldridge will be spoken to by the referee here. He was not through the back feet,
like that.
right on the side.
10, please. Penalty here.
Well, I'm absolutely amazed that the referee has not handed out a yellow card. I don't know what Doug Wooldridge hit there, but we heard the crack over here well up on the touchline. And he just came flying in from the side, and that's a yellow card. You know, that should be 10 minutes in the bin.
Well, it's in the side, isn't it? It's a dangerous angle of the head.
Well, it's in the side. It's a dangerous angle of the head, but it's also it's hitting a defenseless player. You know, a player who's actually at the back, taking him out, who has no opportunity to defend himself whatsoever.
Georgia, love their rugby, very proud country. Very hard country as well. Yeah, Wooldridge. Lucky to still be on the field. His first ever cap, wanting to impress the young prop. He's 23 years of age.
That's enough. 5.
Monroe. They don't give an inch, do they, Georgia? Still being very physical. In fact, Tim Lane. So they put their souls into rugby and contribute to the national cause through their sport.
Yes, it's a very personal game for them. And we said before, before this tournament started, it was shaping up to be the most competitive Churchill Cup ever. And certainly when you look at that first game and also this game, there's a huge amount of competition between these teams, and there's not much in it.
Not straight.
At any stage, all 4 teams today really have battled and made life difficult for each other.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
But Kieran Crowley, that final water break, must have come on and said, okay guys, let's get the energy up the last 20 minutes, let's run the ball and attack this Georgian defensive line.
Fairhurst. Evans. Matt Evans, lovely jinking run. That is try number 4. That is the bonus point in the bag for Canada. And that is what they would have wanted out of this afternoon. They would have wanted the win, get their patterns down, and importantly, get that bonus point.
Yes, they couldn't have really wished to get much more out of this game, but Matt Evans making up for his earlier mistake. The Georgian number 10 took a bit of a blow to the head there, but they recycled the ball, got it wide out, and all of a sudden he got numbers, nice step. And Matt Evans, he'll be relieved that he's got that after knocking the ball on before that.
Yeah, he likes a try, scored a couple of tries for Hartbury College in the EDF Senior Vars in 2008 when they won that competition. Good side, aren't they? It's good rugby factory, as it were, Hartbury College.
Yeah, I think you also, you saw tired legs there in the Georgian defence. Couldn't really react quickly enough to Matt Evans stepping inside.
Pritchard now on the left wing. It's 2 more points. Canada are up to 32.
And it's been a different type of challenge for Canada today. It's one thing when you're playing against Ireland and Wales because they're not expected to win and you can throw the kitchen sink at those teams, and they've done very, very well in competing. But this was a game that Canada were hoping and expecting to win, and hoping, I suppose, by a large margin. And that's a different type of mindset coming into the game. And I'm sure Kieran Crowley will be very, very happy at the way his team have approached this match.
Ed Fairhurst is off, being replaced by Phil Mack. James Bay. And Mike Pletch is on in the front row as well, wearing 16. There is Phil Mack, regular sevens man. Phil Mack. There's Mike Pletch, I should say.
Inside.
Twin brother of Dan, 2 minutes younger than him.
Who's captain now, by the way?
Played together several times in the front row together. Can play hooker or prop.
For the first time, the Canadians were actually running down to that line out, and the Georgians just had a very slow step.
And there's a loose head prop playing at fly half. Things. The wheels are coming off slightly here for Georgia, aren't they? Structure is going. Malaguradzi is the number 10, and it finally gets back into his hands, and he does. Kick downfield now. Evans again. Mack. Again, just pushing Georgia back, pushing them back into the corner. Okay, Verikashvili, the fullback, just clears the line again for Georgia, and that's at the moment, that's all they can do.
Yeah, very much on the back foot and beginning to lose their shape. And Canada, I think they sniff that there might be a few more points in this game. And what it does, is it builds even more confidence in this Canadian side.
1 moment, please.
They've got a massive test on Wednesday evening against Ireland A, who will be fresh coming into this game. Short turnaround for Canada. They'll be doing very, very little in the meantime. It'll be feet up, just recovery, ice baths, the hydration drinks, trying to get their bodies recovered for what will be a huge test for them.
And that's just us. And a move. Can take it into the midfield. And Monroe. Mack wasn't the intended recipient, that was Pritchard. But Canada flying through here, and if it wasn't for the knock-on, Evans would be in for his second try.
Yeah, pre-rehearsed move. James Pritchard coming through, looking for the ball, but slightly overran it. But everybody knew what was happening. The call had obviously been made.
Georgia, 11.
Georgia back up to their full complement of 15.
14 or 11? 11 replacement.
Dadunashvili is back on.
Right. Hold on, time off.
Stuart Alt, the sevens player, who's been playing sevens in Twickenham and Edinburgh the last few weekends, is now involved here in the Churchill Cup. Here he is. Number 18.
Okay, wait for
Again, another player, like many of the Georgians play in France, many of these Canadians do play in England. Stuart Old will be playing at Birmingham Solihull next season. 11 appearances for Rotherham this season. Even the scrum isn't going too well for Georgia now. Canada fighting. They've got a spring in their step, haven't they, Canada now? Healthy lead in this last 10 minutes. Malaguradzi just punts the ball away. That's all he can do.
Georgia.
And Canada have been very good in terms of their thinking of changing the angle and line of attack, rather than just simply pushing the ball out one pass at a time. Here you see the ball switch and then somebody coming against the grain again, and had Pritchard caught that ball, he was absolutely in for a 5-pointer.
Knock on advantage, Red. Play on advantage.
There's Moonlight and Carpenter. There's Bryn Keys, another sevens man. The good development tool, isn't it, the sevens? Just like this Churchill Cup. There's Bryn Keys.
Yeah, the sevens provides the perfect platform to get these players exposed to what one high-level rugby, but also running with the ball in their hands and making decisions on the pitch. And when you look at both Canada and the USA have done very well in sevens in recent months, and really adds to the overall quality of their playing base.
Certainly does. Maisuradzi there, the number 8, going down the blind side. It's just not working out for them, is it? When you've had the time together like Canada have, that sort of 4 weeks, you've had 2 test matches. Georgia hasn't had any sort of time like that together. It's a young squad. Plenty of players have remained in France with their clubs, and it's a shame, really.
Well, what you're talking about is a test Canada squad against a Georgia second team.
Tkachuk. Oh, it's a lovely run for the loose end. Oh, if he'd been a year younger, he may well have got
all lined up right here.
Mack. Advantage to Canada. Kleberger just hacks it on Evans. Will it be try number 2? No, he flicks it inside. Canada have knocked it on, but will come back for the penalty anyway.
First man.
They had so many players lined up. You just thought it was a question of who was going to score rather than whether they were going to score.
Mark C didn't start on side. First man here. Points.
Pritchard.
I'm amazed at that. I mean, the game is gone, 6 minutes to go. You've got the perfect attacking platform if you take a scrum in the middle of the post with options on either side. Bit disappointed that they're not using this as an opportunity just to attack a live defence and try something. They've obviously got moves in the bag. Disappointed that they're not trying another one.
To catch a wonderful run from the veteran. 9 years in this Canada side. Now Kleberger did the right thing, didn't he? He knew where the space was, knew where the men were. Evans flicks it inside, and Andy Monroe couldn't take the ball with him and score.
Yeah, and the Georgian number 20, Ellis Barashvili, he had no choice. He knew he was massive numbers down and just came out and got his foot to the ball and disrupted sufficiently to mean that attack didn't end up in another try.
Pritchard did get the penalty. Vandermeer again. Kleberger. These young Canadian players are playing really well. Here's Bryn Keys. Andy Monroe. Men outside. Evans. Oh, lovely run from Evans, and that is Again, lovely rugby from Canada. Second try for Evans in this second half.
And the strength and depth telling off the bench. All the replacements have had a big impact in this game. The fresh legs making a huge difference to what is undoubtedly tired Georgian limbs. You know, they fought admirably, but just running out of steam. Lovely step, kept the ball alive. Again, 3-on-2. That final defender completely in two minds. And Matt Evans, lovely in and out. Anders Munro again, taking the ball. Matt Evans, in and out, lovely. Final defender really had very, very little chance.
Hold on, mister.
And you have to say that Kieran Crowley will be pleased with this performance. They've shown some really good stuff at times, some really good stuff.
They have. You said about them being together for quite a long time. They look like a team that's well drilled. They look like a team that knows what they're doing, where their support is. They've gone through the moves in practice. They've had a couple of opportunities in live games. And, you know, they really have played very well this afternoon. The big test for them is going to be on Wednesday evening against Ireland A, whether they can do it against one of the favourites for this trophy.
And again, Pritchard, they'll need that man to keep kicking his goals. Crowley will be happy with his kicking.
And they'll fancy their chances because, I mean, they pushed that Irish side very close. I mean, made life very difficult for them. So coming up against an Ireland A side, which certainly on paper you would think it'd be a little bit weaker, you know, they will certainly fancy their chances.
Advantage, knock on.
Up past 40 points now for Canada. And I guess it's about time that we'll do man of the match, Tyrone.
Well, I mean, there's several contenders, I think. A lot of the back row in the Canadian side have played very, very well. But the player for me that really has given them the direction is Anders Munro. He's hit the line, he's threatened every single time. He's got the offloads away, shown great commitment. And my Churchill Cup, Sky Sports, man of the match, number 10, Anders Munro.
So Georgia, one last chance.
Knock on. Stop, please. Thank you. Knock on.
It's come down to Canada. Yeah, the Canadian bench looking on, they'll be happy with the performance. And a real progression in the way that Canada are now playing their rugby.
Well, they've got structure, but they've also got ideas. And those ideas you can see coming through, hitting the line, changing the angle, you know, hitting that angle change at pace, support on the ball, instinctively looking for the offload to keep the ball alive. And they know when they break that first line of defence, the defence in Georgia has been so fragmented, trying to realign itself. The space is wide on the outside, and they've kept their space. And it's been an impressive performance. They obviously have areas that they want to work on. It was a very quiet third quarter for them, and crucially Kieran Crowley will be very keen that in the last minute and a half that they keep their line intact.
Carpenter, Matt can't take it. Here's big Moonlight romping down the field. Look at him, he's over halfway now. Georgia and Hand has got in there. Moonlight tries to get it back to Van der Merwe. Look at John Moonlight on his debut. He'll be pleased with that run, won't he?
Well, again, it was all on for him. They just managed to keep the ball alive. You thought it was actually pre-rehearsed there. Ball in two hands, you can see, looking for the options. But Georgia tracked back very, very well and just interrupted that attack.
Touch, pause, engage.
So one last chance, last minute here. Game number 2, 2009 Churchill Cup in Infinity Park. In Canada.
7 roll away.
It might be infinity and beyond after this performance. Who knows? Pritchard chases, goes out to touch.
No.
And we've got time for one more place as a referee. And Georgia will be happy to be here, to get this experience for their young players, to to play
Canada.
a full test match,
Georgia,
but of
step, please.
course, in terms of world rankings
Georgia.
and the 2 places above Canada, they won't be happy with this result. They have been put to the sword here. 32 points the difference.
They have, but they also have enough examples in this game where when they have had their set piece solid, they have
60.
gone through a couple of quality phases that they have caused this Canadian defence trouble. And crucially, they've scored a try, which will give them great heart for their next game.
Stay back, feet. 17 away, please.
Georgia rumbling, rolling away.
17 and again. 22, rock.
Dadunashvili
Leave the 9.
knocked on from Georgia, and that pretty much Khadzi with the knock on, and that pretty much sums up the day. Well, Canada have won a full game in the Churchill Cup. It's the first time ever, and it's the first time ever in the Churchill Cup they've beaten anyone else. The final score here, final against Georgia, is 42 points to 10.